Okay, I'm back again, and I'm going to tell you about the different kinds of yarns you're going to find. We're going to start with the finest, and that is your crochet cotton, or your thread. You can get in different fibers. You can get, let's see, right here's a polyester. No, it's a rayon. You can get your threads in different fibers too, but most commonly you're going to find crochet cotton. Your finest crochet cotton, the finer the crochet cotton, the higher your number. This is a size 30. Oh, wow. This one is a size 10. I'm going to get these tails off of here. I don't know where the end of this one is, but I'll show you. So, size 30. Let me see that. Size 30, size 10. This one here, the label says it's a 3. Let me get my finger under that one, which is even thicker. So for your threads, they're gauged the same way the hooks are. The higher the number, the finer it is. You know, the tiny hook was a size 13, but a 00 was the biggest one that was there. So you kind of will see that difference in your cotton threads. Okay, and then after you kind of come up to this size 3 of a cotton, then we're going to go into a yarn. Let's see, do I have any out here? Okay, there's something called fingering yarn, sock yarn, or lace weight yarn. And that is, this one is a number 2 fine yarn. There are some that are even lighter than this called a number 1. And sometimes they'll switch over to your thread weights. But the difference between thread and yarn is yarn has more give than thread. So if you're making socks or garments or something like that, you might rather have yarn than thread. So with yarn, the bigger this number is, the thicker your yarn. So this is your fingering yarn, your sport weight yarn. This is your basic baby yarn, and this label does not have a number system on it, but this is a size 3. A sport weight yarn is considered a size 3. I believe it's also known as DK weight yarn. And this is your basic baby yarn. Now some of your baby yarn is going to be fine, number 2. But this is Line Brand Baby Soft, and this is a sport weight. It's a size 3. And again, you're going to look at your label. This recommends a G hook, whereas this number 2 recommends a D hook. And if you remember in my lesson, a D is also the size as a 0, same size as a 0 on a steel hook, so you can switch over on that one. Then after sport weight yarn, you have worsted weight yarn. That's your regular medium size yarn you find the most of. When you go into the yarn store, there'll be like a whole aisle of just this size yarn. There's probably going to be an aisle of the sport weight or baby yarn as well, depending on where you live and what stores are available to you. But I'm talking about your Joann's, your Hobby Lobby, AC Moore. Now, I want to talk about this though. Number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. This one recommends, where did it go? Oh, there it is. An I9 hook. Well, there are other ones that are labeled for medium, but this one recommends a 7, which is smaller than a 9. So I think this is a G or an H. I think this is an H hook. Let's see. I don't remember. Anyway, but so you want to pay attention to that too. So even though these are both medium yarns, this one works up a little finer than this one. So it's like a medium and a half. So you just kind of want to pay attention to that. Your soft, there's Karen's soft, Red Heart has a soft, I think Vanna's Choice. There's different one that has a soft yarn. They are labeled a number 4 as well, but they're finer than your Red Heart medium weight yarns. Then your next one, bigger, is a size 5 bulky yarn. I don't think I have one of those out here. Let's see, is this one? This one don't have the label on it. So, but a number 5 is your next size bulky yarn, and then you have 6 bulky. And again, you want to keep checking, see what size crochet hook it recommends. And then you have super bulky. Oh, here's a 5 bulky. The Moda de Airy. This is a kind of a furry yarn. Let's see. Is this one super? Yarn Beef Frosting. No, it's number 5. So, but needless to say, you just kind of want to look at what weight of yarn you have. We're going to, for our project, use the medium. Now, on websites like Ravelry, since they're an international site, they go by the weight of wraps per inch. What that is if you want to know how many wraps per inch it is, you take a crochet hook, a pen, or something like that. Wrap your yarn around it. Don't pull it too tight. You want to have it relax, kind of like, but you coil it around, and then you measure an inch, and then you count how many wraps that is for an inch. And so if you have a pattern that'll say to use a certain size yarn, that's so many wraps per inch. That's how that's determined. Now what I want you to know is, as a beginner, try to stay away from these fuzzy novelty yarns until you get your stitches down, especially ones like this. They're not only murder to work with, you can't tear them out when you make a mistake because they get knotted. I mean, you can if there's a certain way, but it's really difficult and time consuming to do. Stick with your smooth worsted yarns so that you can tear it out if you make a mistake and reuse it. That's why I like Red Heart, because it's a little stiffer. It's a lot of people don't like Red Heart because it is a stiffer yarn. But after it's washed, it softens up. But your stitches don't fall out so easily. I think you can tear it out and redo it over and over again without it breaking the fibers. There is a note. I want to make a note about fibers. Yarns aren't all what they seem. This is Chenille Thick and Quick by Lion Brand, and this goes for any chenille yarn. It's super bulky. Not the size, I mean what I'm about to tell you about it. You want to look, this looks nice and thick and hardy yarn, but if you look really close, see that little thread sticking out at the end? That really is what's keeping your fiber together. So really you're working with this fine fiber. It's injected with little hairs to make it fuzzy. So when you make an afghan or something out of it, it can break easily. Look at this. I can just pop it just like that without any effort. I'm not saying don't use this yarn, because I made hats and scarves with it, and so that's fine. But if you're going to make something that's going to be used hard, at least double it up with one strand of a lighter weight yarn, so to give it more durability. That was the biggest complaint I saw on comment sections. I think Lion Brand has where you rate it, and the biggest complaint was people's yarn tearing. So it's just something for you to be aware of. Like I said, I bought this to make hats and scarves with, and it's wonderful for that because you don't have a lot of pressure put on a hat. Now, for an Afghan like the one they show in the picture, it's fine to make it, but if you're going to give it to somebody that's going to have dogs lay on it or something like that, this might not be a very good idea. It'd be more for a formal room. So, let's see. I went down my outline here, and the last thing I have on here was talking about novelty yarns. I did that, and then what yarn we need for a project, and I already told you that. We need the worsted weight yarn that's smooth and lighter color, and get your yarn, your hook to match what's on your yarn label. So, hooray, hooray, we're done with the preliminaries. Now our next video will cover, actually crocheting. So we'll see you there.